Hello everyone, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave. This series will be a solo playtest of my game Haiku Journey, a solo journaling game, which is available as well as multiple expansions to the core rulebook to my Patreon members. The link to my Patreon account is in the description below. Thank you all to my subscribers and Patreon members. Although an older version of Haiku Journey can be downloaded in the link below as well. Recently, I have created a new expansion for Haiku Journey, which is focused on Salem 1692 Witch Trials. The focus of the series is to both educate the viewer on how to play solo with my game system and hopefully entertain the viewer as well. The premise of this journey I want to begin with is the point of view of a daughter whose mother is accused of witchcraft in Salem in 1692. The daughter's name is Martha and the mother's name is Sarah. Other NPCs and family members' names will hopefully come about later in the series. I may use both the original rules for Haiku Journey and or the optional sentence structure rules that require a d20 dice roll with potential modifiers gained. This optional sentence structure rule set is included in a free Haiku Journey adventure, The Curse of the Blood Moon, which is also in the description. And with all that being said, let's begin this journey. Now, there are many plot hook tables of different categories. Over 1,000 plot hooks can be either chosen or rolled on with a D100. You can begin this way to give a head start on your journey, or you can simply choose from the thematic word tables and roll on those tables directly to begin. Keep in mind, though, that rolling on the thematic word tables is necessary before each new haiku. The first dice roll I will be using is the accusation and persecution hook table, which is a D100 table. So let me drop in a D100 and roll. And of course, it wouldn't be Wilona's Cave if I didn't roll either a 1 or a 100. So which plot hook is 100? This is nuts. And that is a series of love spells gone wrong incites accusations of witchcraft among the youth. So what I'm thinking when I read this is that Martha is a very beautiful girl and she has many suitors. But with the combination of her beauty and the attention she is receiving from many single young men in Salem, the other single young women are becoming very jealous and are accusing Sarah, Martha's mother, of putting love spells on many, if not all, young men in Salem. Now let's begin creating haikus. I'm going to choose the accusation and persecution word table, which is a D20 table, and roll for 3 random words to guide me in creating the first haiku. Let me drop in a D20, and I roll a 1, which is allegation. Let me roll again, and I get a 6, which is inquisition. And re-roll once more, and I get a 13, which is condemnation. Okay, now with those 3 words, let me think for a little bit, and let me write up a haiku about these 3 words and relate it to the current plot hook. After the magic of editing, and after a little while, I decided to use only one of the words from the word table. Keep in mind, if playing with the optional sentence structure rules, this would mean that you only get a +1 modifier to your D20 fortune misfortune dice roll. There are varied difficult ratings for haikus. I'm going to set this first haiku to the difficult rating of average, which means I need to score a 20 or more to roll on a fortune table. Now here is the introductory haiku that I came up with. Allegations spark, whispers through Salem's dark heart, jealousy's harsh mark. Now, after scoring, which I provide in my Haiku Journey core rulebook, the scoring sheet, after scoring, I unfortunately did not score high enough, which is a 20 or more, to be able to roll on the fortune table. So now I have to roll on the misfortune table. I only scored a 14. So in this haiku, I only had 7 nouns, 1 preposition, 1 verb, 2 adjectives, and that's it. So that's 14 points. So I needed a 20. So now time to go to the misfortune table. When rolling on the fortune or misfortune tables, try to match the thematic word tables that were used for the haiku that was just scored, which was accusations and persecutions. However, you could use a different thematic word table for your next haiku, which will be affected by the fortune or misfortune you just rolled on previously. Now, let's roll on the misfortune table, which is a d20, for the topic of accusations and persecutions. Let's drop in a d20 and roll. And I got a 13. Great. Such a lucky number, 13. And 13 is child's nightmares implicate parent. Well, isn't that special? That's just fitting to this narrative, of course. It would have been nice to have a fortune to begin with, but oh well. So we're going straight to the bad news. I like keeping notes in between haikus to ensure that I can follow the narrative easily and reflect if needed. That's just a little key note there. So I rolled a misfortune that stated a child's nightmares implicate a parent. The following is the note that I wrote in my journal. A child has reoccurring nightmares of Sarah crafting a love potion and pouring it down the town's well, right before all the young men in town get off work and go to the well for a drink of water. So with that being said, before I create the next sequential haiku, I need to go to a word table and choose 1 to 3 words to create the next haiku about the previous premise and scene that I created. I wonder if this event is the first of its kind in Salem, but I will say it isn't. The witch hunts and accusations have been going on for quite some time, and Sarah is unfortunately the next victim. So with me stating that and going through the various word tables in the expansion, there is a thematic word table titled Sanctuaries and Hideaways. I would think that Sarah's family, parents, husband, etc., would try and hide her. So I'm going to roll for 3 words on that table. Keep in mind that this next haiku is the previously stated misfortune topic. Let me roll a d20 and I get a 3, which is cloister. Let me roll again and I get a 1, which is haven. And re-roll one last time and I get a 13, which is vault. Now, let me write up a haiku about 1 to 3 of these words as they relate to the current misfortune. I am going to set this next haiku to the difficulty rating of easy, so a score of a 17 or more is needed to then roll on the corresponding fortune table. And the haiku I came up with is the following. Cloisters whispers keen, swiftly potions blend unseen, night's dread sharply seen. And after scoring this haiku, I get 26 points. That's awesome. That's where you want to be at. You want to really try to get the highest score you can. What I like to do with this game is I create the haiku and I score it. I don't score while creating the haiku because that's almost cheating in a way. So I just create the haiku that I can think of and then score, and whatever it is, it is. So being an easy difficulty rating and a goal of a score of 17 or above, a score of 26 is a success, and now I get a roll on the fortune table to guide my next haiku or sentence structure. Let's continue this narrative, but for the next one, I will use the optional rules for Haiku Journey that utilize a d20 modified dice roll in a sentence structure model. What I am thinking next is that Sarah, her husband, Martha, and relatives have successfully, for the time being, guided Sarah to a location near Salem, but far enough to be considered safe, for the time being, of course. The location is a small cavern near a riverbed. To begin, let me now roll on the fortune table for sanctuaries and hideaways, which matches the word table used for the previous haiku. Let me roll a d20 on the fortune table, and I roll a 17, which is moonlit path shows safe routes. I think it will be interesting if Sarah's family meets with a stranger in the small cavern they are hiding in near the riverbed. So I'm going to roll for 3 words on the strangers and outsiders word table. Now let me roll a d20 3 times. And I get a 10, which is a heathen. That's wonderful. Let me roll again, and I get a 16, which is a philosopher. And re-roll once more, and I get a 9, which is a mystic. Interesting. Now here's the optional sentence structure I came up with using the previous fortune stated and the 3 random words. Heathen, mystic, and philosopher find, under moonlit paths of fate intertwined. So after entering the small cavern near the riverbed, Sarah and her family met 3 people, a heathen, who was a woman from Salem who was also accused of witchcraft, a philosopher, for some reason, and a mystic. Although I am unsure if any of them, especially the mystic, have good or bad intentions. Now to continue with the optional sentence structure rules, since I used all 3 of the random words, I now receive a +3 modifier for my D20 fortune misfortune dice roll. Now to get a fortune outcome from the D20 dice roll, I need to roll 11 or more on the D20 including the modifiers. So let's do that. Let me roll a D20 +3 modifier. So I need to roll an 8 or more, and I roll a 5. +3 is an 8, which is unfortunately a failure, and I will have to roll on the strangers and outsiders misfortune table now. So now let's see what the misfortune will be. And that rhymed. Hey, almost like a mini haiku. Let me roll a D20, and I rolled an 18, which is outsider's secret jeopardizes safety. Well, it looks like the question that I had about the mystic, whether the mystic had good or bad intentions, has been answered. And I'll leave it right here and end the first episode of Sarah's Journey in Salem 1692 using my game system Haiku Journey, a solo journaling game. I hope you all sincerely enjoyed the episode and also enjoyed my new game system. This series helps with playtesting my system and educating anyone who wants to learn how to use the game system. And if nothing else, you can use this system of random tables for your solo playthroughs with other game systems, or as a GM with your group as a supplement. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all my Patreon members and YouTube subscribers. And as always, happy gaming everyone. Bye.